Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to give you a tutorial on how you can make your own ribbon flower hair clips like this one, and these are super easy to make and they don't require any sewing. All you need is ribbon, and you will need 4 cm wide and a matching 1 cm wide, and this is to wrap your clip. You will need something for the centre of your bow. Now you could pop a pearl in the centre or a rhinestone, but as you can see I used some stamen. So for this one I'm using pink, so I've picked out some baby pink stamen for the centre of this one. Some felt, and this is for the underside of the bow. You will need your hair clip, a lighter and a good quality pair of fabric scissors. Everything that I use in this tutorial will be linked in the description below, so you can check out all of these products. If I can't find the exact product, I will link something very similar. So first of all, taking our wider ribbon, and the ribbon I'm using today is 4 cm or 1.5 inch wide. You can use a more narrower ribbon, say 1 inch, or you can use 2 or 3 inch wide ribbon. Just bearing in mind that the width of the ribbon will affect the size of your flower. So the wider the ribbon, the larger the flower. So this 1.5 inch wide ribbon, that makes a 1 3/4 inch flower or 4.5 cm flower, and this size I think is just right personally, but if you want to make a larger flower, like I said, you can use a 2 or even a 3 inch wide ribbon. And you will need 9 squares of ribbon, so 6 petals for the bottom, 3 petals for the top, so 9 petals altogether, so 9 squares of ribbon. To measure your square, you'll just need to cut the ribbon in lengths to match the width of the ribbon, obviously. So 1.5 inch wide ribbon, I need to cut 1.5 inch in length. To do that, you can either use a tape measure, or to make your square, just simply take the corner, fold it diagonally and line up this raw edge with the side of the ribbon, making sure it's perfectly straight and in line right up to the corner here like that. And then taking your scissors, cut where this edge meets. So right there is where I need to cut, and I'm using the lines in my ribbon as a guide to cut this dead straight, because as you can see the grosgrain ribbon has a line in it, so I can use these lines, and then I've got my perfect 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch square. You can do that with whatever width of ribbon you are choosing to use today. So there are my 9 squares of ribbon now. As you can see, I've already done my first 6 petals for the bottom layer of the flower. I'm going to show you on the top 3 because they're all made in the same way, and I don't want to bore you showing you every single one. So we've got the 3 top ones left to make. So to make the petals, you need your lighter, and you need to run your lighter along these raw edges where the ribbon has been cut, and this will seal any frays and prevent any further fraying. So what I like to do is use the blue part of the flame, because that is the coolest part, so that I don't burn my ribbon. And I just carefully run it along the edge, and as you can see, it's burning away any frays and preventing any further fraying. So we've got our ends heat sealed now. Next I'm going to take this corner here and I'm going to fold it up diagonally to make a triangle. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of heat from my lighter on that point and just give them a little pinch just to hold them together whilst I work on the rest of the petal. And then taking these 2 corners now, we're going to bring them up to meet that point. So taking this bottom right corner, bringing it up to the top to meet the top point. And the same with this left bottom corner, folding it upwards to meet that top point. So we've got this shape now. And now we're going to fold this down. So I like to use this finger here at the bottom and then these 2 at the side to fold that down in half. So it looks like that. And then you want to line all of these little pieces up so they're side by side neatly, like this. And then holding it very close to the tip, pinching it together with my thumb and finger, I'm going to use my lighter again on that end and then pinch it together. Be careful because the ribbon, where it melts, it does get hot. But you just want to melt those fibres so that they hold together. So as you can see, when I let go now, the fibres have melted and bonded together to hold the end of that petal shape. Next, I'm going to just flatten this end, pop my thumb in this piece here and just make it a little bit more rounded. So that's how you make a petal. So I'm going to show you on the next two the same way. Heat seal the ends. I'll do these ones a little bit quicker now that I've explained one in detail. Fold it in half diagonally, making sure it's very neatly folded, using a little bit of heat on that tip just to hold it together for a moment, and then taking each of the two bottom corners and also bringing those up to meet that tip. And then folding it back and then lining up these three pointed ends so they're all side by side, and then melting the fibres to hold them together. And then making that end a little bit more rounded. And the last one. The top layers you will make more rounded than the bottom, so these three, I'm going to make those a little bit more wider and rounded for the top layer. So they'll be for the top and these 6 will be for the bottom. And now we're ready to form our flower shape. So taking our warmed up hot glue gun now, I'm using the Dremel 940, excuse the mess of it, it is very used and well loved. We're going to do the 6 bottom petals first. So to join these together, taking one petal at a time, we're going to add some hot glue to the side, not too close to the end, so around 1/2 centimetre from the end. Pop a thin bead of glue along that side. Taking a second petal, you're going to line them up together. It might help to turn it upside down at this point so you can pinch that side part together. So that's the first 2 petals joined. We're going to continue doing it the same way for all of the petals. So now we've come to the last one. So I'm just going to open up the petals slightly so I can squeeze that in that last side. So the same way, putting the glue not quite to the very end of the outside because you don't want to see the glue on the edge of your flower. lining up the petal, taking it to the underside and just giving it a little squeeze. So now we've just left with this opening, which we're going to close up now. So opening it up again, I'm going to carefully place the glue along that open edged petal, and then bring those last two sides together to close up the final part of the bottom of the flower. So that is the bottom of the flower now done. And now we're going to add our top part, the top 3 petals. So as I said before, these petals are slightly more flatter and rounded, and that is so that they can fit in between 2 petals. So each one for the top layer will sit over 2 petals like that, so that they're staggered. So you want to add your glue to that tip part of the petal and a little bit along the edge. You don't need too much of the glue, and staggering it over so that the middle of these 2 petals is central to this top one. You don't want to add too much glue because otherwise you will ruin your flower. You will see it on the outside. The next one we're going to do the same, so add the glue to that tip part a little bit out toward the edge. I'm just using the tip of the glue gun to spread it slightly, and again stagger it between the next 2 petals. So these are the next 2 petals, and the middle of these 2 bottom petals is central to this top one. And then the third and final top layer petal. Staggering it between these last 2 petals. So this is what we've got now, this gorgeous 3D flower. Next we're going to add our stamen. So I've got this little bunch of pink stamen to match my flower. I've picked out a little bunch. You can put in as many as you like. I usually do, this one I've done 5. On this one I've got a little bunch of 6 here, and to me by eye that looks about right. So I'm just going to cut these off. These are like in a bunch and they're wrapped with some paper. You can just peel this paper down to reveal the stems. So about 1 centimetre down, I'm going to cut this stamen off. And then I'm just going to give these a little twist and add some hot glue, just to keep those bunched together. Being careful not to burn your fingers. And then we're going to pop this stamen through the centre of the flower. So just popping that in there and pulling it through. Stick these down, so I'm just going to pop some hot glue on those ends and just fold them over between the gap of one of the petals, and that will just hold that in place for now. And next we're ready to add our clip and our felt circle to the bottom. So I've chosen a coloured felt to match my ribbon as best as I could, and I've got a 1 centimetre wide ribbon to line my metal clip, and this just hides the metal hardware. So I'm going to start by heat sealing this end, and then I'm going to start wrapping my clip. So I'm going to place some hot glue along around sort of 2 inches along the end of the ribbon, and place it on the underside of my hair clip, and then push it into the pinch part of the hair clip and then over the top. And obviously with this being an open prong clip, I'm not going to add glue all the way along because it will just seep through. So I can see now how much I need to cut off to wrap my clip. So I'm going to cut off the excess ribbon. Set that aside. Again, heat seal the raw end. You can use toothed clips, which are not open pronged like this one, but these are just the clips that I prefer to use, and my daughter likes these ones. She don't like the toothed ones because she said they pull on her hair. So again, I've just popped glue on this part because it's an open prong clip, so when I fold this over, both sides will stick to each other. So that is my half lined hair clip now, and I'm ready to add on my flower. Now to add the flower, this is where the felt comes in. I'm going to cut a freehand circle of felt. You may have a 1 inch circle of something you can draw around, maybe a nail varnish lid or a lid of something else, but I just cut mine by hand. So I'm just cutting around a 1 inch circle from my felt. Obviously if you're using a wider ribbon, making a bigger flower, you will need a slightly bigger circle, but for this flower, as you can see, around 1 inch is enough for the bottom. And then next we're going to fold this felt circle in half, and we're going to cut 2 slits in it. So around just over 1/2 centimetre from the end, I'm going to cut in 1 slit, and then about 1 centimetre wide gap in the middle, or as wide as your clip, and cut a slit in the other end. So it looks like this. You've got 2 slits, and we're going to thread our clip through there. So we're going to thread the top part of the clip through. So I'm going to turn my clip upside down and thread it through the slit, and then back out through the other slit. And then just before I glue this down, I'm going to make sure it's in the right place. So I like my flower to sit. You can just see the pinch part of the clip coming out. So that is where I need my felt circle to be. So I'm going to lift up this flap here and glue that down onto the clip. The same with the other side. So this is not going to move anywhere now. And then you want to add glue to this felt part and in the middle. And then taking our flower and popping it on that circle of felt. So I like to flip it upside down at this point so I can push this all down into the flower. And then you will just need to reshape your petals, because where we've been pushing on the flower, it can get a little bit misshapen, so just reshape your petals. And there you have your finished gorgeous ribbon flower hair clips. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications. I'll see you again soon. Bye!